So, good morning. Good morning. This is a stream I never expected to ever do in my life. Write a title out that says Koscielny refuses to travel to America. Ah, Jesus Christ. What kind of example is that setting from one of our 5 captains? What does that show to the youngsters that are trying to break through? Listen, I understand that he wants to leave. I get that. That's cool. But, people have mugged off a hell of a lot of other players that we've had over the years for refusing to play. For example, S.Teov, he's a snake. He's a snake because he refused to play and went to the Grand Prix instead of going and watching the game or training or whatever. Koscielny cost the boss. He's world class. Well, he's never been world class in my opinion. And I'm not saying that because I'm salty because he's refusing to go. Anyone who's watched my channel, follows my Twitter and stuff like that for a long time, knows that I've never rated this guy. Yes, he was fantastic last season. Don't get me wrong, credit where it's due. He was really good when he came back. The first game he came back was a Europa League game. He was a bit shaky. First league game was against Southampton. He was absolutely dreadful. But then after that, he was fantastic. Absolutely unbelievable performances for somebody who's only got one Achilles. So, listen, I understand that he wants to go. I genuinely get that. I understand that Arsenal would be happy to let him go. That's cool. But you don't go about it like this, mate, especially if you're one of the captains of the club. He's been at Arsenal, what, 8 years? It was 8 years the other day that he signed. So, yeah, he's been at Arsenal 8 years. I get told all the time, he's been a loyal servant. He's this, he's that. He's world class, cost the boss. The fact and reality of it is that he's never been world class. He's been a good player over the years. Not a world class player, but he's been a good player in bursts. There's been times where he's been an absolute liability as well. Now, I don't just blame it on him. I blame it on the fact he's only ever really had Mertesacker as a decent centre back next to him. Mertesacker's the only centre back that knows how to defend that we've had for a long, long time. And then obviously it don't help when you've got idiots in midfield that don't like doing dirty work. So I get why he's looked a liability at times. It was 9 years since he signed. Sorry. Thank you for that, mate. Appreciate that. But yeah, listen, this is a guy that is club captain. He's supposed to be the leader. Well, if you believe that, then that's just laughable. This is the same guy that was crying because his kids bully him because we lose matches. So he's never really been a leader, but the fact that he was the captain, in fact, he's supposed to lead by example. Whether you do that on or off the pitch is irrelevant. You have been given the captain's armband, and that is a badge of honour for you as a footballer, right? And especially one at Arsenal. When you look at the absolute legends we have had at this football club that have been captain, Patrick Vieira, Tony Adams. There's 2 that spring to mind straight away. Now, I'm sorry, but this guy should be fined every single penny of his wages until he refuses to get on a plane. And if he doesn't get on the plane, bang him in the reserves, let him rot and see out the last year of his contract and let him rot in the reserves. Because this is just not acceptable. Let's be real. Obviously, Arsenal are trying to get rid of him. He's trying to go. I genuinely believe both parties want out. I think Arsenal want him gone, and I think that he wants to go. Obviously, quite clearly, he wants to go. But at the same time, there's ways and means of doing this, right? Arsenal are obviously holding out for a bit more money. He's obviously got the ump over that. And say, for example, a club that's in for him bids £5 million. He knows that they've bid £5 million because his agent would have been informed of that, right? Now, Arsenal are probably saying, yeah, you can have him, 10 mil. And, people can mug Arsenal off all they like, right? At the end of the day, we sell our players too cheap. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's a £10 million footballer. £10 million. Yes, he's 33, 34, whatever he is. £10 million. You either pay 10 million or jog yourself on, and we'll just pay him for the rest of the year. And he can see out the rest of his contract in the reserves, having not played a single game. So, yeah, for me, not acceptable. What example are you spreading to them young boys that have just been promoted to the first team, that are coming in, trying to make their way at Arsenal Football Club, and you're spitting your dummy out because you can't get a move out of the club? Like, come on, man. The same people that mugged off Fabregas, Van Persie, Alexis Sanchez. Please tell me they're all doing the same about this guy, because at the end of the day, it's disgusting. And if you're going to mug off Sanchez and Van Persie and Fabregas, then I'm sorry, same rule applies for Koscielny. Just because he's been here for 9 years or 8 years or whatever it may be, don't make him any different. At the end of the day, he was comfortable and in a comfort zone at Arsenal under the previous manager and the previous CEO. Right? He was very comfortable. He knew he'd start every week. The new manager's come in, obviously put him through his paces, probably said to him, listen, you need to step it up a little bit. And to be fair, he did last season. I personally believe the club have gone to him. The manager might have said to him, because we all know a couple of weeks back, the manager had an appraisal with every single player. He'd done a half-hour appraisal and went through the pros and cons of their season and whether they're going to be here next season. I personally believe Koscielny was told that he's not going to be here. So I reckon that he's been told to go and find another club, which is cool. And he's probably sourcing out other clubs. There's clubs linked to him. That's fine. But don't spit your dummy out. You remain professional until the very last day that you represent this football club. You've only got to look at Aaron Ramsey, right? Now, whether you like Aaron Ramsey or dislike Aaron Ramsey and think he was any good as a footballer is irrelevant. That guy stayed professional until the very last seconds he was at Arsenal Football Club. Right? Now, whether you rate him or not, goes out the window. He kept his professionalism. And the clue's in the title, professional footballer. So why is he acting unprofessional? You're getting paid a handsome amount of money, my friend. And you are just taking wholesale liberties. It's disgusting how he's gone on, refusing to go. There's kids on that plane, or there's kids not on that plane, should I say, that would be itching to get on that plane in his place. Itching. Medley, for example, a young up-and-coming centre-back. I bet he's desperate to be in America. I don't even know if he's going to America. But if he isn't going to America, then he should get the call-up to go to America. Because there's young kids that play at centre-back in our reserve teams that would jump at the chance to go to America on a pre-season tour and play for Arsenal first team. And this guy's just abusing it like it's nothing. Like, yeah, cool, whatever, I ain't going. Yeah, what are you going to do? I ain't going. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. J. Rob, thanks for your donation, my friend. Not the way to go on about things. Don't blame him for wanting to go. Well, to be honest with you, Andrew, I kind of get it. Yeah, I do understand why he wants to go, right? He's been here a long time. But there's ways and means of doing it, mate. You know, Aaron Ramsey wanted to go. Aaron Ramsey held the club to ransom in terms of contract negotiations. But he was always classy with it. You know, he was always classy with it. The only thing I would slag Ramsey off for in that whole contract, is he going, is he staying thing, is the fact that when we went pre-season tour last year to Singapore and we played PSG, he stood there smirking when he was asked, are you going to stay? He was smirking and said, that's down to my agent. Yeah, that's the only thing Aaron Ramsey did wrong from the first day of negotiating to the last day of him playing for Arsenal. Yeah, he never refused to get on a plane. He never refused to play. In fact, he wanted to play more games. So, listen, Koscielny, yeah, cool. I don't blame him for leaving. Cool, you're 33 years old. You're not going to get much game time next season. You've maybe got a year left in you somewhere else, 2 years maybe, in a lesser league. But at the same time, you don't go refusing to get on an aeroplane when you're paid millions of pounds every year, right? And people are saying, well, the money's irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. He's getting paid an absolute fortune to represent this club, right? And he should understand the position and the privilege it is to play for Arsenal Football Club. And he's totally taking the wholesale mick out of it, refusing to go on a plane. Jesus Christ. I'm doing very well, the Crown of Sam. I hope you're well, my friend. Good morning from LA. Good morning, Shay. Arsenal should go for Tarkowski. Maybe throw Koscielny in as part of the deal. Do you still think Arsenal will get top 6? Says Georgie. You've made some good signings so far, mate. The Leicester fan. But yes, I do still believe we will get top 6 because I don't think we're not going to sign anybody, if that made any sense whatsoever. We will make signings by the end of this transfer window. Thank you to nearly 600 people watching live already, so I do appreciate that. Thank you. Please do stick a like on the video as well. Not even 60 likes on it yet. And I will be back at 5 o'clock as normal. and 9 o'clock as normal. So subscribe if you're new, plenty of content on the way. And if you haven't checked out my daily transfer update, I went on a little bit of not a rant, but I was a little bit upset that we've only signed one player to go on the tour. And I'll escalate on that and elaborate on that on 5 o'clock on my stream. So I'll be talking about that later. He can leave, says Armstrong. Koscielny needs to be sold immediately, says Ben. Well, this is the thing, right? You're now going to see the obviously Arsenal have put the statement out there. Let me read the statement Arsenal have put out there. Actually, let me just read that out for those of you that haven't seen it yet. Club statement on Laurent Koscielny. This is from Arsenal.com, Arsenal Media. Laurent Koscielny has refused to travel to the US for our pre-season tour. We're very disappointed by Laurent's actions and are against our clear instructions. We hope to resolve this matter and will not be providing any further comment at this time. So yeah, like I said, he's refused. I was just shocked when I see it. Absolutely shocked. I couldn't believe that this is the club captain refusing to get on an aeroplane. Disgrace. He can leave provided we get a replacement or give Bilic a chance, says Vishal. Well, the thing is, we've actually got quite a few centre-backs here, mate. We've got Socrates, Holding, Koscielny, Mavropanos. Who else we got? Mavropanos. We've got somebody else. And Monreal can play centre-back. So there's 5. So, and then if you put Bilic, Chambers, Mustafi, that's it. How could I forget Mustafi? Jesus Christ. But yeah, so there you go. We could possibly have like 7 centre-backs if you're using Chambers and Bilic as well. I'm not working today because I'm officially on holiday until the 27th. So yeah, I'm now on holiday. I go to Spain in 2 days. Got a nice couple of days off before that. And then I'll be flying off to sunny Spain. So happy days to me. It's 3:32 a.m. in LA. Jesus Christ. Go to bed, man. Go to sleep. Arsenal should trade him for Dunk. He's finished anyway. Only if it was Mustafi who refused to get on the plane. Yeah, that's very, very true, actually, Majid. Thank you, Alex Alexander. I do genuinely hope I have a wonderful holiday. But yeah, just a couple of days relaxing. And yeah, then I'll be getting on the plane. So I'll be getting on a plane. I won't be refusing to get on an aeroplane. Although Arsenal are not paying me for the privilege, but there you go. But yeah, let's read some more of these and then I'll wrap this up. I'll do about 5-10 minutes of questions and comments and I'll wrap this up. But yeah, I thought obviously as soon as I see the news, I was like, no, I had to read that 2 or 3 times to make sure I weren't half asleep or anything. And some jabronis would say that Kos was better than Adams, says Power Spin. Mate, I see that a lot, you know. I see a lot of people saying that he's better than Tony Adams and Tony Adams was this and Koscielny's this. So, yeah, listen, at the end of the day, he's not even in the top 10 centre-backs in Arsenal's history. Some people are having him in the top 5. Not for me. Everyone's entitled to their opinion and that's fine, but not for me. I've seen so many better centre-backs at this football club than him. So not for me. I think it's very unprofessional what he's done. I hope he's reprimanded in terms of donating his wages to a charity or something like that. Maybe to the Arsenal Foundation. They should take the money off of him. And listen, he should be stripped of the captaincy by the end of today. It's as simple as that. Arsenal need to come out and put a statement out saying they've stripped him of the captaincy and he will never play for the club again. Yes, that might cost us a few million quid, but at this point, it's irrelevant. Maybe chuck him in the reserves and refuse to sell him, hold him against his will. Yeah, if he's refusing to get on a plane, yeah, cool. We refuse to sell you then. Go and play with the under-23s. He's going, ain't he? Why else? Says Dan T. Well, I do think he is going, but I think the reason that he's doing this is obviously we're trying to play hardball over the transfer fee, which we have every right to do. So listen, at the end of the day, if a club bids 7 million and we want 10 million, we have every right to say that. And that's how you negotiate, the same as the Kieran Tierney deal. They want 25, we bid 20. So at some point, you're going to meet somewhere in the middle or just above the middle, and you're going to get the deal done. Now, Koscielny's obviously been advised by his agent to spit his dummy out and force a move, which I get. I genuinely get it. But at the same time, when you've been at this club for 9 years and you're one of the club captains, it's disgusting behaviour, and it's bang out of order what he's done. You know, everyone can have a go at Alexis Sanchez for unsettling a dressing room. Let's remember, this was the same guy that was crying because his kids bully him because we were so crap. No, he couldn't take it. That's the weak mentality this guy's got. So listen, the quicker he goes, the better. But at the same time, and on the other side of my head, I'm thinking, no, just bang him in the reserves, let him rot in the reserves for the last year of his contract. He'll be 35 by then. Who's taking him at 35? Yeah, keep paying him his 75 grand a week. Yeah, stick him in the reserves and let him rot for a season. Circle 15 says he's been shit for the last 2 seasons. I wouldn't go that far. I'd say that he was pretty decent last season. So yeah, I think as soon as he came back from his injury, he played a couple of games. He looked shaky. Southampton, he was crap. The Champions League game, I think it was Karabag. I think was his first game back. But yeah, other than that, I thought he was actually really good. I actually thought he was really good. But yeah, at the end of the day, he's only got one Achilles. He can't spring. His legs have gone. He's defensively not great anymore. His positioning's not great anymore. He's too slow. He's way too slow. And if you're slow like Mertesacker was, you need to have it up here, and he ain't got it up there as much as Mertesacker had to be in the right position all the time and to read the game. I don't think he's ever had great reading of the game. Highly glad to watch live and escape from work, says Joey a.f.c. Largy. Thank you, mate. Don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble, mate. You don't want to get sacked or anything like that. I love you, Lee, says Jay Bizzle. Thank you. It's always nice to hear kind comments, mate. Very nice to hear kind comments, because at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of haters in this world, whether it be on social media or whether it be in outside social media life. So when you do hear kind words, mate, it's always very nice. So appreciate that. Thank you, Arseno Wonga. Appreciate your love as well, my friend, and the Crown of Sam. Right, let's do a couple more minutes worth of these comments and questions. How much do Arsenal want for him, says Tom. Well, this is the thing, right? Listen, I think that I think he's worth about £10 million. And I'm being straight up. People may laugh at that. He's £10 million. If you want him, it's 10 million. There was reports going around that teams in France and Germany were looking at him for about £6 million, £7 million. Yeah, cool. Bid £6 million. You ain't getting him. If you want him, it's 10 mil. Yeah, and it's about time Arsenal started playing hardball and selling our players, because we sell our players way too cheap. You know, so, you know, for example, Benessir is going to AC Milan for like 16 million euros or something. Yeah, we're getting £3.5 million of that. Yeah, £3.5 million of that, which is 4 or 5 times more than we got when we originally sold him. So listen, sometimes we sell our players too cheap, and it's about time that that we actually go and say no, jog on. It's 10 million, or you ain't getting him. And if the player's got the ump over that, tough. Go and sit in the reserves. Alex Iwobi is playing sick. Big up, geezer, says Lee. Good name, my friend. Good name. And yeah, he's been playing at number 10. He looks so much more comfortable at number 10 rather than being shoehorned into left forward. So hopefully, if we do play for number 10 next season, it's him, because I think he's got so much talent and ability. He just needs to believe in himself a little bit more. Thank you to nearly 700 of you watching live as well. Subscribe if you are new. I will be back at 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And do stick a like on the video as well if you're enjoying the content as well. So yeah, happy days. Let's do a few more of these. Imagine Puyol and Totti doing this. I missed that from Nodwin the Fat. I did. Sorry, mate. I've scrolled back. I did see it. I just forgot to read it. And I'm concerned that our transfers are done. Listen, appreciate both of them donations from you, my friend. I really do. And listen, the likes of Puyol wouldn't be doing this sort of thing, mate, because at the end of the day, they're genuinely respectful to the club they play for, mate. You know, at the end of the day, Koscielny's seen other players doing this and probably thinks it's right. He's seen Fabregas do it. He's seen other people do it. You know, he's seen Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, Aaron Ramsey all take liberties on contracts and run contracts down and stuff like that. So, listen, I get that that's the way modern football's going now. But if you're the club captain, you have to lead by example, and you haven't done that, mate. So, you know, it's a disgrace. I think he should be made an example of. I think he should either be sat in the reserves and refuse to sell him, or we take him straight, captain's away, armband straight off of him either way, and just say, right, sell to the first bidder. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that he's taken the wholesale piss. Yes, there will be a 5 o'clock stream, Richard. It will still be going, and so will the 9 o'clock stream, my friend. He deserves to leave on his own terms. Jesus Christ. Based on what, my friend? Based on what? He's under contract at Arsenal Football Club. He don't deserve nothing. He agreed to sign a contract which states that he's here until next season. That was the length of his contract. So how does he deserve to leave on his own terms? I don't get what you're saying, mate. I genuinely don't understand that. He's a legend and served us well. Bruv, listen, I know you're trolling me now. A legend. Jesus Christ. I would let him rot in the reserves, says Joe. See, this is the thing, right? There's 2 ways you could do it. You let him rot in the reserves, or you take the first bid that comes in for him, or the next bid that comes in for him, right? Now, I'm in two minds, right? Because to teach these players and make an example of them, I chuck them in the reserves. But at the same time, do you take the money and just get rid and cut ties because you could then unsettle all the kids in the reserves? I don't know, man. It's a tough one. But listen, him and his agent are taking the wholesale mick. If you want to move, cool. Go and get your move, right? Do it respectfully like Aaron Ramsey did. Yeah, and that's why I'll never mug Ramsey off. Listen, I didn't think Aaron Ramsey had the greatest career at Arsenal. He scored 2 absolute legend goals, in my opinion, in cup finals. But at the same time, I think his club career overall didn't really hit the heights. But no way will I ever slag Aaron Ramsey off. The way he left this football club, fair play to him. He was the best centre-back in the league from 2012 to 2014. He could have gone to Bayern, PSG and Real and stayed loyal. Are you sure? Are you, bruv, seriously, what are you smoking, bruv? He was the best centre-back in the league from 2012 to 2014. Are you mad? And he could have gone to Bayern, PSG and Real Madrid. Well, why didn't he then? Well, he chose to stay at Arsenal and win nothing. A couple of FA Cups. You're crazy, bruv. Listen, I rate your opinion and I respect that you're trying to stay loyal to the guy, yeah? But I can't agree with that, man. He weren't the best centre-back in the league. He never has been. Why exactly have Arsenal made this public? Do you know what, Vizard? That's probably the best comment we've had. Why have Arsenal made this public? Maybe to make an example of him. Maybe to say, well, look, we're trying to do stuff here and we're trying to get the squad ready. And look at this guy. He's the club captain and he's trying to unsettle everything. I don't know. I don't have any inside information on that. But yeah, I must admit that is a very good question you've asked there, my friend. I genuinely think that he knows he's not good enough anymore, though. Thoughts on that? Thank you for that, Vartan. I think he knows that he's not good enough to play in the Premier League anymore. I think he knows that. I think he's realised that. I think he wants to go back to France. It's not as intense. It's not as physical. It's not as demanding on your body. And I think he'd look all right over in France. Don't get me wrong. He's still got a year or 2 left in him, but not in the Premier League. So yeah, you're probably right, mate. You're probably right. Joshua Crave says he has done nothing for us. He lost us a cup final to Birmingham, has played about 40 good games in 8 years. Let's get hungry players in and not lose any sleep over a player who's well past it. Do you know what? I think that was a little bit harsh, bro. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I think he's played more than 40 good games for us. I could count about 10 or 12 we played alone last season. But I do agree with the cup final. I agree with the Atletico when he tried kicking it back over Griezmann's head. He's given away untold amount of penalties when being rash. And he has looked an absolute liability at times. But at the same time, I'd say he's probably been the best of a bad bunch. but that's not really saying much. But I don't know. Lacazette should be captain, says Ali Mustafa. I agree with that as well, actually. I've said that for a long time. Lacazette should be captain. He wants to return to France. 7 million, let him go. Go buy Dunk, says John O'Neill. I agree with that. Get Dunk, definitely. Listen, I don't know whether we should let him go or whether we should make an example of him, you know. But then the problem you've got is if you make an example of him, he upsets the whole of the reserve team if you stick him in the reserve. So it's a tough one. I can't see him. I can't see him being here again and playing another game for us. If I'm being honest, I think we will get rid of him now. I think that was always going to be the plan, but he's now making it difficult for us. So yeah. Right, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you to over 750 of you watching live right now, which is actually mad considering the time of day. I nearly choked on my coffee. The time of day it is. But yes, thank you very much. I will be back at 5. Do stick a big thumbs up on the video. I'll be back at 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock today. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you to everyone who's watched, subscribed, liked, commented, donated, all of that. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you all at 5 p.m. Laters, peeps.